What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for Monday based off what the trends are showing, based off what many analysts are saying about NIO, and based off what's going on with the overall market. Now, before I give you guys my price prediction, before I talk about what may end up playing out for NIO, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed 6 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And you could always sell these 6 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some NIO shares for free. And this limited time offer that ends in just 2 weeks. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So, looking at NIO, this thing's down about 3.61%, at least when the market ended up closing on Friday. And it is a little bit up during the after hours, which goes to show that NIO is kind of moving with the overall market, as we're also seeing SPYs trying to push up too. Now, what does this mean for NIO going forward? Well, one thing that's actually a good sign is many analysts are now saying that they believe NIO is bottoming out, and they think that the deliveries decline wasn't necessarily some sort of surprise, and that their deliveries should really start to increase and reach their normal values very, very soon. And I actually agree with this because many other analysts found, as NIO reported from their latest earnings, that by sometime in the month of June, they're going to go back to the normal levels from before. And by the time we get to July, August, September, and the second half of this year, I really think that they're going to improve big time when it comes to deliveries. I think Q3 and Q4 are going to be some of their best earnings yet. So it is going to take time, but as I've stated before, NIO has some time to really show that recovery. Now, when it comes to NIO, yes, this thing dropped pretty darn hard and it may have a bit of a bounce, but there is one thing we have to look out for that's very important, and that's the fact that we have big catalysts coming out for the market, big things that can cause some choppy price action. On the 14th, which is Tuesday, we have the PPI data coming out, or the producer price index, and that in turn is going to affect the markets. Now, on between the 14th and the 15th, we also have the FOMC meetings. 14th doesn't necessarily matter as much, but the 15th is going to be the very important day when we find out how the Fed ends up changing its monetary policies. So that's going to be very important for us, and that in turn can lead to some choppy price action later during the week, perhaps by Tuesday or Wednesday. But before we get there, I do anticipate maybe a slight push up for NIO and the overall market for Monday. I'm going to show you why I think that. So looking at the SPY, we can see the SPY is kind of oversold in a way. We dropped almost 3% in one day. And on top of that, we have this nice gap up here all the way up to about that $401 level. Now, the reason why we dropped so hard, and I did warn you guys about this in one of my previous videos, was the CPI report that came out, leading to more recessionary fears and other things like that. So CPI was very hot. It was a little bit too high. And that's not necessarily a catalyst that's going to crash the market immediately, but it could lead to more bearish price action for the long term based off the Fed becoming a lot more hawkish. Now, for NIO, what does this mean? Well, the SPY looks like it's set for a bit of a bounce. It might actually push up and start to fill this gap relatively soon before it gets another rejection and continues to drop, in my opinion. And as a result of this, I do believe that NIO is going to kind of follow the SPY a bit, and we might actually see this thing start to push up a little bit. So I'm going to show you why. Looking at some indicators, looking at the MACD, the RSI, we could see right over here from the 5-minute perspective, NIO was dropping pretty hard. It seemed to get a bounce off that 1781 range. And if you watched my previous videos, you would know that I talked about how 17.8 is a very, very key support zone. And that's where we got that nice bounce. And after that, we got that nice crossover from the MACD, a bit of a push to the upside. And since then, we've been trading kind of sideways. RSI is kind of in the middle. And you could see in the after hours, we are a little bit green, which is a good sign. So what do I think is going to happen for Monday? What is my price prediction? Once I close this, it'll be a lot easier for you to see. So what I'm trying to talk about is this right here, okay? Looking at NIO, we have this gap up here, but I'm not sure if this gap is going to get filled quite quickly. You could argue we're about to form maybe a head and shoulders, but we'll have to wait and see how the chart plays out. If we get a nice push, if NIO actually pushes that hard up, but I don't see a catalyst that will really push it that high up unless the market starts to push up. Now, what I'm trying to say is NIO is going to be dictated by the markets. So here's what you need to be looking out for. Let me actually pull up the chart looking like this, and let me talk about what on earth the key zones are. Let's talk about a more bearish possibility. If on Monday, okay, if on Monday NIO starts to drop, hypothetically, this would be the bearish possibility. I'm not predicting this. I just want to let you guys know. The key support zone is at 17.8. I want to see NIO hold that. If we don't hold that, right, we could end up dropping as low as that 17.4 to 17.5 range. That's going to be a key support zone. And if that somehow doesn't hold, then 17 is the next stop for NIO. We also have a gap down in the 16s, but I don't see that getting filled in one day. And NIO may see a move kind of looking like this if we were to see a more bearish possibility, right? We may end up, dropping down kind of like this by the time we close. And we may end up closing just about here around that low, maybe mid to low $17 range for a more bearish possibility. Now, what's the more bullish possibility? What would happen if NIO starts pushing up? Well, if NIO starts pushing up, 18.59 is that key resistance zone. So we want to see NIO break past that. If it does, we're going to head back to the 19s, and we should get a bounce off that 18.59 range. Hopefully hold this range for some time and maybe push a little bit higher, kind of like this, up to that's 19.5 range, maybe get a bit of a rejection off that, and then continue down. So this was the more, how should I say, bullish possibility, closing kind of like this. Now, what do I think is actually going to play out, right? I'm going to make the line yellow for what my actual prediction is. And here's what I think is the most likely possibility. I think on Monday, okay, NIO is probably going to get a push up to that $18.59 level. We'll probably trade a little sideways for some time and then push up slowly. We might even touch 19 for a second, get a rejection off that, and start to kind of descend throughout the rest of the day. That's essentially what I'm seeing. I do think NIO is going to be a little bit green, though. I think we might hold up some green, and NIO should close to that maybe mid $18 level, maybe a little bit above that, around that 18.7. So that's essentially what I'm predicting for this one. I'm a little bit more in favor of the bulls than the bear just temporarily, because the market may see a bit of a bounce. Now, the thing about that is I do see more downside for the future. I do see some more potential downside because the bears are gaining more control over the SPY and the overall market. And considering the fact that inflation is still high, the Fed will most likely have to get more hawkish and all these other things coming into play. I do think that NIO and the overall market may have more downside, but it's not the end of the world because soon, right, the next few months, NIO will bottom out, get a strong bounce, then the recovery is going to start for the markets, and NIO is going to push not back to the 20s, not back to the 30s, but back to the 40s, 50s, 60s for the future. So be patient, be strong. This is just a short-term prediction. Just notice that the overall market may dictate NIO, but the company is still very strong and has very strong fundamentals, and it will bounce back, in my opinion. With that said and done, thank you for listening. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon, and peace out.